Have you ever looked up at the sky and thought, there must be more for me than this? Not because you're ungrateful, not because you want to brag or hoard, but because deep inside, something whispers that abundance is part of who you are. That quiet nudge inside your chest, that tug in your soul, it's not random. It's a reminder of your origin. You were created by a force of infinite supply. There is nothing about you that was designed for lack. Yet, society trains us to believe that wanting more is greedy, that wealth is reserved for a select group chosen by luck, inheritance, or connections. But what if that belief is the very barrier standing between you and the freedom you crave? What if the only real distance between where you are and financial liberation is not money, but mindset? Florence Scovel Shinn, a woman far ahead of her time, taught that life is a game, and money is simply one of the levels we learn to master. She didn't speak in metaphors to sound poetic. She meant it literally. The spiritual laws she revealed are like the hidden controls in this reality, and we either learn to command them or remain at the mercy of randomness. The reason so many people struggle financially is not because opportunities don't exist, but because they approach money as if it holds the authority. They ask, they hope, they worry, they hustle themselves into exhaustion, and still feel like life is slipping through their fingers. But the truth is astonishingly simple. You are not meant to chase money. You are meant to direct it. Like a general speaking to soldiers. Like a captain commanding the sea. Like an artist telling paint where to flow upon the canvas. The world has convinced us that wealth must be earned through strain. That you must grind harder, wake up earlier, sacrifice joy, and prove yourself again and again before you are deemed worthy of abundance. But Florence Scovel Shinn shattered that illusion with one core idea. Spiritual authority precedes material evidence. Reality doesn't shape belief. Belief shapes reality. If you think prosperity is something external you must chase, it will always stay just out of reach. But if you decide that prosperity is already part of your identity, like breath, like heartbeat, everything around you reconfigures itself to match that conviction. Today, we are stepping out of the version of you who hopes and into the version of you who decides. You may have repeated positive phrases before, trying to shift your mind. Maybe you said, I attract wealth, while your stomach twisted in doubt. Maybe you tried to be optimistic while the bills on the table screamed louder than your affirmations. That's not failure. That is inner conflict. Your voice speaking one story while your belief holds on to another. The universe doesn't respond to words. It responds to the truth you vibrate. If you speak abundance but feel fear, scarcity is what echoes back. Not because the universe is cruel, but because it mirrors the frequency you stand in with the most conviction. There is a monumental difference between wanting abundance and embodying abundance. Wanting sends a signal of lack. Embodying sends a signal of possession. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that desire is a divine indicator of what has already been prepared for you. If you desire financial freedom, without jealousy, without harm, without greed, it's because wealth is already yours in the dimension of spiritual truth. Your role is to claim it, not chase it. Imagine for a moment that wealth is not a distant hope but a present companion. Like someone following 2 steps behind you, waiting for you to finally turn around and acknowledge its presence. The day you stop asking when will money come, and instead declare money flows to me because I am aligned with abundance, that is the day the shift begins. A subtle change in posture. A calmer breath. A mind that starts scanning reality for possibility, favor, and open doors. You do not command wealth using desperation. You command it through inner completion. When a creator finishes a masterpiece, they don't beg the world to accept it. They simply sign their name because the work is already done. That signature says, "This is complete. My intention is sealed." That is exactly what Florence Scovel Shinn revealed about spiritual law. Creation happens first in the invisible and then in the tangible. Wealth doesn't arrive to convince you. It arrives to confirm what you already accepted as truth. The shift from asking to commanding is not arrogance, it is alignment. Right now, you are rewriting the rules that govern your financial experience. You are dropping the old belief that you must strain endlessly for results. You are releasing the idea that someone else holds the key to your prosperity. You are stepping into the identity of a person who understands that money is simply energy, and all energy responds to the one who is most certain. You are accepting your role as the architect of your financial life, not the victim of circumstance. You are acknowledging that freedom is not earned, it is claimed. Everything changes the moment you realize your imagination is not a toy, it is a tool. Every time you picture yourself paying for something without checking the cost first. Every time you envision travel, generosity, peace of mind. You are not fantasizing, you are activating. Florence Scovel Shinn insisted that vivid imagination is the first draft of reality. It informs the subconscious, which then instructs the material world. If you can feel wealth, if you can hold it in your mind with ease, if you can walk like someone who has access instead of someone who is waiting for permission, then your environment will catch up to the identity you inhabit. Money is not the starting point of abundance. It is the result. Take a slow breath and let this truth settle. Your financial transformation does not begin when money arrives. It begins the moment you decide you are done living small, done shrinking, done doubting, done surviving. From this moment forward, you are operating from spiritual authority, not economic fear. Wealth is not a miracle you beg for. It is a reality you command into motion. Because you were not created for crumbs. You were created for overflow. If you truly understood how reality rearranges itself around conviction, you would never doubt again. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that financial breakthroughs occur the moment your inner world reaches an unshakable conclusion about your worth. The world outside is nothing more than a projection of what you have already accepted within yourself. People who appear lucky are not chosen by chance. They are chosen by certainty. They decided that prosperity was part of their identity long before anyone else saw evidence of it. They chose alignment over anxiety, faith over concern, expectation over hesitation. And life simply conformed. When someone walks with the energy of "I belong in abundance," doors open that stay sealed to those walking with the vibration of "I hope I'm allowed in." Think about an architect designing a magnificent skyscraper. They don't wait until the building is visible to celebrate it. They celebrate at the moment of vision, blueprints in hand, because the unseen stage is just as real as the final structure. Your wealth begins in the blueprint of your belief, not in your bank. You are not waiting for money. Money is waiting for you to approve the construction of a new financial reality. And once you approve it, the builder, the universe, begins work immediately. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel safer. Immediately. Florence Scovel Shinn emphasized that every word you speak becomes a decree. There is no neutral language. Words either build wealth or sabotage it. That is why people who constantly repeat fears like, "Money is hard to keep," "I can't catch a break," or "everything is so expensive," mysteriously find those statements becoming their lived experience. They are writing scripts for their life, and life simply performs the role they assign. The power of command is not in whispering magic. The power is in recognizing that your voice has always been law, whether you used it consciously or unconsciously. So now we step into intentional law. We choose a declaration so resolute that the universe must respond. Florence taught that belief plus spoken certainty equals manifestation in motion. Imagine standing on solid ground, shoulders relaxed, breathing steady, and boldly affirming, "Wealth is my natural state." Feel how different that is from begging. Begging assumes power lies elsewhere. Declaring acknowledges that the power has always been yours. When you look at wealthy individuals who move confidently through life, notice the absence of desperation. They don't apologize for wanting more. They don't shrink to make others comfortable. They operate from a type of peace that seems almost surreal to those stuck in survival mode. That peace is not a product of the money. It is the cause of the money. They own the identity first, and the world eventually fell into line. Right now, you are reclaiming your identity. You are removing the old programming, the conditioning that attached guilt to success, shame to desire, fear to ambition. You no longer confuse modesty with self-denial. You no longer confuse humility with lack. You are playing the game Florence Scovel Shinn spoke of, the game of life, but now you are playing to win. You are stepping into sovereignty, not struggle. And here is where your command becomes unstoppable, when you detach from timing and technique. Many people delay their abundance because they obsess over the how and when. Those questions send a message to the universe that you still doubt the outcome. Doubt is like putting a signature on a check and then tearing it up 5 minutes later. But certainty signs the check and trusts it will be delivered, without tracking the mail every hour. You don't need to know which idea, which connection, or which opportunity will carry your wealth to you. You only need to know that wealth is already traveling in your direction. Imagine your future self, confident, calm, wealthy, calling you from a timeline where everything you desire has already manifested. That version of you exists. That version of you is urging you to catch up. Your role is not to build the bridge is already built. Your role is simply to walk across it with the posture of a person who knows they are chosen for overflow. When you speak from completion instead of longing, the world recognizes you differently. You become magnetic. You become undeniable. You become the one who expects good, and so good arrives. From this moment on, every action you take must reflect the identity of someone who lives in abundance. If you had the wealth you desire, not someday, but now, how would you wake up? How would you speak to yourself? How would you treat others? How would you carry your body through the world? Wealth is not just a number. It is a way of being. Adopt that energy first, and the figures will follow. Money is obedient to identity. There will be people who ask why you're so confident. They will wonder why you seem so sure that life is bending in your favor. And you won't need to defend yourself. Your results will speak. Your transformation will become your testimony. Not to prove anything, but to expand possibility for others. When one person rises into abundance, they illuminate the path for many. Before we move forward, I want you to feel something right now. Relief. Your struggle is not your destiny. Scarcity is not your home. You are crossing a threshold into the life you are always meant to experience. A life where money flows, opportunities knock, and you no longer fear the next chapter, because you are the author. And because this journey is not meant to be silent or solitary, I want you to participate with your voice and your presence. If what I've said so far resonates even a little, then I want to invite you into something small but powerful. If you feel the shift beginning inside you, tap the like button, not as support for me, but as a declaration, I choose abundance. And comment below something that symbolizes the wealth already coming your way. Maybe an emoji like, or a word like, authority. This isn't just about engagement. It's an energetic agreement. A moment where you align intention with action. And because we are here unlocking deeper truths from Florence Scovel Shinn, truths that many have forgotten, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. There is so much more to awaken in you, and each message is a step toward the wealth you're meant to command. Your transformation is already unfolding. You can feel it. Now let's continue walking into your financial destiny. With power, with peace, with certainty. There comes a moment in life when you stop waiting for a miracle and realize you are the miracle. That realization shifts everything. The worry softens. The pressure fades. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, think differently. Florence Scovel Shinn explained that money is merely a shadow of the consciousness that creates it. Where there is confidence, money follows. Where there is fear, money flees. And that is why today, your power is rising. You are no longer the person who watches life happen. You are the one who commands life into motion. There is a universal law that Florence always emphasized. What you claim, you become. If you claim lack, lack grows. If you claim prosperity, prosperity expands. The universe does not decide whether you qualify. It merely fulfills your order. And now, your order is abundance. Not temporary luck, not small improvement, but lasting financial freedom built from spiritual certainty. You are redefining what is possible for yourself. There is a strange comfort in poverty that many people never admit. It allows them to hide behind excuses, to believe life is unfair, to explain every setback without ever having to rise above it. But you are not choosing comfort. You are choosing growth. You are choosing change. Prosperity demands courage because it invites you to stand in your greatness without apology. Florence Scovel Shinn believed that true wealth begins the moment you stop shrinking to satisfy someone else's story about you. It is easy to repeat positive words when the sun is shining, but the real test of faith is how you speak when the storm hits. When the bill arrives unexpectedly. When the opportunity falls through. When doubt knocks on the door loud enough to shake the walls. In those moments, the average person collapses. They surrender to fear. But you, from this day forward, do the opposite. You speak with even more authority. You maintain the energy of someone who already has what they desire. You claim your wealth even louder in the silence of uncertainty. That is how champions are made in the realm of manifestation. Close your eyes and picture something with clarity. You have just entered a room designed only for people who think like creators. There is no competition here, no scarcity, no jealousy. Everyone in this room knows the truth that Florence Scovel Shinn taught. The supply is endless. In this room, There is enough for everyone to prosper without limitation. The atmosphere feels different. The air feels easier to breathe. Because here, wealth is not a dream. It is the default. Let your mind sit in that world for a moment. Notice the way your shoulders relax. Notice the calm spreading through your chest. This is the frequency of a wealthy identity. This is the posture of someone who does not chase money, but attracts it. Your nervous system begins to align with prosperity. Your subconscious begins to accept a new baseline. The transformation is internal first, but once the internal changes, the external has no choice but to follow. Now consider this. Every great shift in humanity began with a single person deciding that the current reality was not enough. Someone chose to believe in a possibility others could not yet see. That person became a pioneer, a leader, a reference point for what was once deemed impossible. You are doing that right now, not just for yourself, but for everyone who knows you. You are breaking a cycle. You are rewriting a family history that may have been filled with struggle, sacrifice, and survival. You are establishing a new standard where wealth does not feel distant, but natural. Florence Scovel Shinn said that nothing stands between you and your desire except the belief that there is a gap. Remove the gap, and the desire arrives quickly. So now, every time your mind tries to convince you that wealth is hard, you answer with authority. Every time an old fear resurfaces, you silence it with truth. Every time doubt tries to bargain with you, you deny its right to speak. You are no longer a character controlled by circumstance. You are the writer. You are the narrator. You are the one who decides the tone of this story. Abundance is not about luck. It is about identity. If you see yourself as someone who must fight for every penny, you will live a life of tension and scarcity. But if you see yourself as a natural receiver of good, good will find you with ease. Money is drawn to certainty like metal to a magnet. The more certain you are, the stronger your pull becomes. Picture yourself receiving financial opportunities that are not forced or stressful, but smooth and aligned. People reach out unexpectedly to collaborate. New ideas appear that feel effortless and exciting. Resources arrive through channels you never predicted. Suddenly, what once felt heavy becomes light. What once felt impossible becomes obvious. This is the shift Florence Scovel Shinn wanted the world to understand. Abundance is your birthright, but you must claim the inheritance. Even if the world has tried to convince you otherwise, even if you have lived years believing that wealth belonged to others, today is the day the lie ends. You are dissolving the old paradigm of struggle and stepping into a timeline where prosperity is the atmosphere you breathe. Everything you are learning now becomes a new internal command. No more asking for permission to live well. No more apologizing for wanting more. No more pretending that survival is enough. A wealthy identity is rising in you. And once your identity rises, wealth rises with it. Take another deep breath. This is what alignment feels like. This is what authority sounds like. This is what financial transformation looks like from the inside. Your abundance has already begun its journey toward you. There is a quiet moment in every transformation where everything becomes clear. Not because the external world has suddenly shifted, but because the internal narrative has changed so drastically that the old version of life no longer makes sense. You realize that limitations were never physical walls, but beliefs dressed up as truth. And once those beliefs are exposed, the walls crumble. Florence Scovel Shinn called this the moment of spiritual recognition, when you finally see yourself as the universe has always seen you. A creator, not a beggar. A commander of supply, not a victim of economy. Think of how often people trade their dreams for what feels realistic. They shrink their desires to match their current circumstances. They lower expectations to avoid disappointment. They silence their vision because someone once told them that wanting more is unreasonable. But Florence revealed a radical truth. The desire within you is not a tease. It is a promise. The dream that arrives in your mind is a preview of what is already prepared. You were not given vision to suffer its absence. You were given vision so you would have direction toward what is yours. Consider a sculptor standing before a block of marble. No one else sees the figure hidden inside the stone. No one else hears the potential whispering from within its walls. Yet the sculptor knows it is already there. They do not walk away and wait for the statue to magically appear. They remove everything that does not belong. That is exactly what you are doing. You are chiseling away fear, doubt, guilt, and limitation. You are revealing the wealthy identity that has always existed beneath the layers of old programming. This is not self-improvement. This is self-revelation. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that your word is your wand. Meaning, every statement is a spell cast into your future. If you speak defeat long enough, defeat becomes familiar. If you speak abundance with real conviction, abundance becomes inevitable. And so from this moment forward, you are guarding your speech like a treasure. You do not speak about what you fear. You do not discuss what is not working. You do not reinforce the narrative of insufficiency. Instead, you speak with the tone of someone whose success is a settled matter. You voice the outcome as if it has already been delivered, because in the spiritual realm, it has. There may still be moments when old thoughts try to resurface. The brain likes what is predictable, even when predictable means painful. But now you have a strategy. When a fearful thought arrives, you answer it with authority. Not by fighting it, but by overriding it. Florence would say, never argue with the illusion. Replace it with truth. When fear says, money is running out, you respond, my supply is endless. When doubt says, what if this does not work, you declare, the way is already prepared. When guilt says, who am I to want more, you state, I am a divine expression of abundance. And you say it not with hope, but with certainty. Your identity is no longer based on your past. It is determined by your decision right now. Wealth is not something that happens to you. Wealth is what emerges from you. You do not need to chase opportunities. You generate them. You do not wait for someone else to approve your rise. You choose it. You do not sit by the sideline wishing for a breakthrough. You become the breakthrough. Every day, people walk by doors meant for them simply because they assume they lack the key. But the truth Florence Scovel Shinn revealed is that the key is not something you hold. It is something you are. When you stand in certainty, the doors recognize you and unlock. When you stand in doubt, the doors stay closed not out of punishment, but because they reflect the level of access you believe you deserve. Today, you are upgrading that belief. Today, you are stepping into the identity of someone who walks through life expecting good, not hoping for it. There is a moment not far from now when you will look back and wonder why you ever questioned yourself. You will remember the late nights worrying about finances that no longer exist. You will recall the hesitation that once slowed your progress. And you will smile, grateful that you did not give up before the shift happened. Because the shift is not coming. It has already begun. Your energy has changed. Your expectation has changed. Your internal thermostat for abundance has risen to a new level, and everything outside must rise to match it. Florence Scovel Shinn believed that action becomes effortless when it flows from alignment. You are being guided toward the opportunities that fit your new identity. Your intuition sharpens. Ideas arrive more quickly. You notice possibilities that were invisible before because your mind was too weighed down by doubt. Now, clarity replaces confusion. Calm replaces panic. Confidence replaces hesitation. Even your relationship with money is evolving. It is no longer the villain of stress or the symbol of struggle. It is now a partner, a resource, a tool for freedom, impact, and experiences. Money is no longer something you pursue. It is something you welcome. It flows to you because you are finally flowing with it instead of against it. You are moving from survival energy into sovereign energy. You are operating in the frequency of someone who belongs in the rooms where wealth circulates. You are embodying financial ease long before the numbers appear because the numbers are not the cause, they are the effect. And the effect has no choice but to appear once the cause is in place. You are the cause. Feel the certainty deepening. Feel the shift rooting itself inside you. There is no going back. Your identity has already crossed the line. The wealth that aligns with who you are now is not hypothetical. It is inevitable. It is not a future event. It is an unfolding truth. You are not preparing for prosperity anymore. Prosperity is preparing for you. There is a powerful shift that takes place when you finally step into a life where wealth is not a distant vision but a current identity. Your breathing changes. Your perspective changes. Even the way you occupy space changes. You no longer walk quietly hoping life notices you. You move with the presence of someone who knows they belong wherever abundance gathers. Florence Scovel Shinn insisted that once you claim prosperity, the entire universe begins working on your behalf to deliver what you already decided is yours. And that is the stage you are in now, The delivery stage. Imagine yourself waking up tomorrow morning, not with stress as your first thought, but with calm as your first instinct. You stretch, you rise, and your mind is clear. There is no panic about what may happen. There is no dread over what bills may come. There is only the ease of knowing that everything is working in your favor. The air feels lighter. Time feels more generous. The day feels like an opportunity instead of a challenge. This is what wealth feels like before the money even arrives. Your bank account is not the measure of abundance. Your peace is. Your certainty is. Your expectation is. Because money is always the last piece to appear in the physical world. The spiritual truth forms first. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that manifestation begins the moment you speak the inner command with conviction. That command has already been issued. Your wealth has already been set into motion. The bridge to your desired life is already constructed under your feet. All you are doing now is walking further into the version of yourself who does not question whether they deserve prosperity. You are done fighting old battles. You are done repeating stories that kept you small. You are done carrying the weight of a financial identity that never belonged to you. From this point forward, everything you do, everything you accept, everything you expect must align with the truth that abundance is your natural habitat. You are allowed to flourish. You are allowed to win. You are allowed to rise so high that struggle becomes a memory rather than a lifestyle. Think for a moment about the people who will benefit from your transformation. Family members who will finally breathe easier because you broke the cycle. Friends who will be inspired to believe bigger because you showed them what is possible. Strangers whose lives you will unknowingly touch through generosity made effortless by your overflowing supply. Wealth is not selfish. Wealth is service amplified. The more you have, the more good you can do without hesitation. Florence Scovel Shinn always reminded her students that faith is not proven by comfort, but by consistency. You will remain consistent in your identity no matter what old circumstances try to say otherwise. Because the evidence of lack is not the truth, it is a memory. Those numbers, those debts, those old patterns are the echo of a version of you that has already expired. You do not live there anymore. You are no longer influenced by the shadows of the past. You live in the rising light of new expectation. Every time you imagine the lifestyle you desire, you are strengthening the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Every time you choose calm instead of panic, you are aligning with the reality where financial ease is normal. Every time you hold your head high and speak to yourself with respect, you are reinforcing the identity of someone who leads wealth wherever they go. You are not asking for miracles. You are activating laws. There will be a morning not far from now when the notification appears, the call comes through, or the opportunity lands directly in your hands, and you will not be surprised. You will feel gratitude, of course. You will feel excitement, absolutely. But you will not feel shock. Because deep down, you already expected it. You claimed it. You prepared for it. You accepted it as the natural result of who you are. Your financial upgrade is not a hope. It is a timeline unfolding. Before we transition to the next phase of your transformation, take a slow inhale and allow your mind to settle around this truth. The hardest part is already behind you. The decision has been made. And once a spiritual decision is made, the material world has no choice but to follow its command. Now it is time for movement. Not frantic effort. Not desperation. But aligned action rooted in certainty. Small choices that reflect your new identity. Simple adjustments that signal to life that you are ready to receive what has always belonged to you. Florence Scovel Shinn said that when you act as if, you become what you expect. So today, act like a person whose wealth is inevitable. Here is what I want from you now, because this is not a one-way conversation. It is a community, a collective awakening. And you play a vital role in that. If what you have heard today has stirred something inside you, then let your voice be part of this shift. Tell us your story. Share the moment you decided that financial scarcity would not define you anymore. Write in the comments what you felt, what you released, what you are stepping into. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to realize they are not alone in this transformation. And if you want to continue walking in this truth with us, if this message ignited your certainty and reminded you of who you are, then subscribe and stay connected. This space exists to keep your faith awake, your authority strong, and your alignment unwavering. Because consistent exposure to empowering truth is how you maintain the momentum of manifestation. As we close this chapter together, I want you to speak to yourself with the authority that Florence Scovel Shinn dedicated her life to teaching. Stand in the energy of someone who commands abundance, not someone who hopes for it. Take a deep breath and seal this understanding with clarity. It is already yours. It is unfolding now. It is done. Carry those words into the rest of your day like a crown you never take off. Walk through the world with that assurance radiating from every step. You do not have to chase anything. You simply align and receive. The universe has heard your command, and what you have claimed in certainty is now on its way into your reality. You were never meant to survive life. You were meant to shape it. And now you are.